Welcome to a slow-paced Seton's cast, featuring a middle-range Seton's game, with some newer players and some older classic Seton's players. The game is going to be, from what I hear, rather eco-centric and should display some interesting mistakes, leaving some room for discussion on what could have been improved. First we could start with going through the teams. On Northside Beats it's Grindelwald, who previously I believe was named Additum Regis or Abstract. On front position we have none other than the legendary Miser, going double factory, which I think is rather advanced for 1200 rating, but we'll see how Miser will fare. On rock side we have Renegade, a newer face on Seton's player. I think used to be some sort of dual gap pro player, whatever that means, but obviously he has been converted successfully to Seton's and has now become a Seton's regular, which is always a very nice thing to see. And last but not least, on North side we have Hornet Robot, a Frenchman with an excellent attitude and somewhat classic Seton's player, plays also other maps but has been seen several times in Seton's in the past. South side we have VMC Snack on the beach, a really classic old Seton's player, mainly known for his airplay back in the days. Up front we have Clark, a newer player to my knowledge, but is a Seton's regular. On rock we have Aurand, another really classic Seton's player, and back in the air spot we have Hokuto Shinken, yet another classic Seton's player. Position wise the game looks fairly balanced. Grindelwald should obviously win north side with 400 rating advantage. I would give south side a Renegade due to rock position being stronger. Miser is certainly no pushover in games of this type, but Clark should be able to get the most of front position, and in terms of air it's fairly difficult to say. I think air should be more or less completely even. We could speed up and see how things go in the front. Let me just turn the game volume down a little bit. Mash should probably go fairly even, not that it matters as much as it used to, simply because the reclaim rate has been halved, so there's no massive overspill whatever you do. Your team would be handicapped as much as in the past if you fail to get 50% of the mass. There's about 13,500 mass, so half would be about 7,000. There's still quite a bit left on reclaim, so that means Miser's not... yeah, Miser's fairly low, 4k. And only went for 2 X upgrades. He's starting his deck 2 in the middle. Clark doing some manual donations, which is fairly nice. Hawk should be getting a nice advantage to this. Yep. Clark is starting his deck 2 a little bit later. He was busy reclaiming the remaining decks. Hawk saying Mice is not a good eco. Clark is, yeah I know, he is aware. And he's going for nano repair, which means that this commander would most likely be huge. And if we look at the chat, we can see from north side perspective, Grindel is going gun after deck 2, and that's no mistake. He has assessed the situation correctly. Obviously there's not a great deal of scouting going on here. We don't see the Clark's forces, and we see only a little bit of his base, not really his production. But yeah, maybe a scout flew past earlier and they saw the forces here. Anyway, this is the correct assessment. Front will need help, especially because Mice commander is pushed off here. He's been cut off from his own troops, and yeah, we can see that it's clearly a greater force, superior force coming from south. and it's gonna be just a matter of time before Mice's base would be overrun without help. Horny is pitching in some additional factories, pumping Mantis and type, and Grindel is heading to Mice's base with his gun commander, which surely, if he's in time, should put a stop on Clark's advancement. Mice trying to set up some fire base here, but it's failing. Now Clark has spotted him, and Mice forced back in the water, and there's a cheeky little land factory from VMC. I failed to see how this engineer got here to build it, but it's stealing some reclaim. In terms of islands, I don't think there was any great harassment going on. There's some incursion here, some inti wrecks, so I think Grindel probably harassed Orange a little bit, but yeah. Both navies look fairly stale. Decoying up and preparing. And now Grindel's comm is in the middle. Did get just in time to build some Tech 2 PD. Mice's commander is on the causeway cutting off Clark's reinforcements. This force here really dwindled without the reinforcements. Which were probably needlessly cut off by my Mice's commander. Oh, now it's too late. This commander is a powerful unit now with nano and gun, but it's too much against the gun commander and 3 PD and some units as well. Let's see if Renegade had any plans of helping front. Yep, there we have it. Tech 2 HQ, and he's stacking up some Corsairs, which could easily be used for a snipe right now. He's waiting to get some more. Oh, there's up north we have a drop from Orange, but right now it looks like, yep, that's game for Clark. Gets taken out by Corsairs, Hawks, ASFs out of position, but then again there was no air involvement before the Corsairs suddenly coming in. Looks like Orange drop killed one mech and then got taken out. If you don't win, you're retarded. Yeah, mid is on really weak eco, which means that south side should have a fairly great advantage. VMC now inheriting Clark's base, which is quite fully developed, has a Tech 2 HQ and full Tech 2 eco as well. Almost. VMC is doing some harassment with Tech 2 subs. However, the Seton will easily stop them. Grindel going for TML and commander, we'll see what he will do with that. Yep, VMC ecoing up. He's preparing a large build power. Simultaneously upgrading his Tech 3 mixes. Oh, and here comes the Corsairs. That was halfway complete. That's nice mass damage. Only patrolling his ASFs here. I don't think anyone has noticed this. VMC's attention is up here in the front. He is setting up a PD, ecoing up, bolstering the base. Yeah, preparing forces to defend from Mice. He doesn't notice these far away mixes being taken out. There's no ping. Now this Corsair is looking for more targets. We'll see. Yeah, now there's some sort of ping going on. Comics gets taken out. Yep, Hawks is on the map now, and looks like there's no air challenge from Horny. not for the sake. Well, maybe he's coming in, but he is pursuing. Numbers look fairly even. There's no reason to fight at this stage. It's no advantage, and you would simply leave reclaim here. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think the numbers look completely even. That must surely be the work of TML from Grindelwald. There's no TMD up. He's going online now. Fails to kill that one, so 4 max is taken out at least. So VMC is under pressure from 3 different players, and make no mistake, it's not easy to control 2 bases. I think somewhere around rating of 1700 or so players that's finally becoming confident in operating 2 bases efficiently to at least a certain degree. But it's really, if you inherit 2 bases and you play against 2 opponents of your own skill level, more or less, and both of those players are aggressive and pushing, maybe even receiving edge from the 3rd player, it becomes really difficult to repel and divide your attention evenly, because, as you well know, they have double your APM, double your mouse clicks, and so forth. Looks like Grindel's TMD, TML, yeah, attempts will be denied by the cruisers. As you can see, cruisers have a real powerful TMD with a massive range compared to the land TMD. So these cruisers here in position will deny Additum from, yeah, he should walk at least south, like this far south now, and that's not safe. With some, yeah, Salems and subs in the fleet. Yeah, it looks like Renegade had some technical problems. He donated his base first to Grindel, and now the Horny is not happy about this. It's difficult to play air and rock at the same time. He will struggle, but he will try. And I think if I was in a position like this, I would simply lay down, like, you're gonna kill yourself if you try to play both spots like 100% all the time. So it's pretty easier to just, only thing to do with the airbase, queue your max upgrades, automatize as much as you can, queue a long expansion of pigeons and air grids, and just spam ASFs on a rally point and just lay your ASF there and rely on other people actually pinging, and then focus on the Navy, because the Navy is more important, naval production and the economy in this space. Mice forced off the causeway. VMC is rebuilding his base. Yeah, this is still in preparation. That's a very large build power. And yeah, he has now HQ from both Seraphim and Cybran. Seraphim technology is really nice. The cruiser is really powerful. Has an amazing TML launcher and great flak DPS. Defend against tops. And I like how VMC has split his production. In case of nukes later on, production like this will be impossible to completely dismantle in one missile. Some stray tops from Horny. Alright, so Renegade apparently solved his technical problems. He had some problems with the keyboard. Now he is in control of his base once more. Will surely make Horny's life easier. Up north we have Stale ecoing. Aurund has a slight advantage. Grindel has finished his eco and now turning to Tech 3 naval production. Let's look at the air. Oh, now this figure is something interesting. Yep, this was a nuke. Double pigeon in a position. Oh, fairly strange. I suppose he wanted to make nuke here and here. Oh, the stern fucked up, okay. Here he could have gotten double adjacency, and here from the hydro, but okay. He is going for nuke and then another nuke here, double nuke. This could be huge. These pigeons, this is a very peculiar shape, especially in a place where nobody usually builds any air production. Let's see. Hasn't been scouted. Normally, if you see something like this, like double pigeon in this particular shape of formation, in this area or maybe here or here, it's a fairly good tell that it's going to be a nuke. So there was no scouting, but if these pigeons would have been scouted, even when there would be no nukes started, it would be a fairly reliable tell that there's going to be a nuke, and you can already ping that there's going to be a nuke. Let's see how long it takes for north side to spot this. Yeah, that's a scout, which looks like, yeah, no doubt Hawk would have liked to very jealously guard this secret, but there's no radar here, no scouts, so he fails to see this scout from Horny, and yeah, nicely it gets immediately pinged. They at least know of one nuke, and if that's zoomed close enough, yeah, that's the second nuke as well. Grindle says win air. Well, of course, Hawk has been spending once they're both complete 30,000 mass on the launchers alone, which means that Horny should have a significant advantage in terms of ASF, but Horny has some problems spending mass himself. Has completed this eco, but doesn't quite have enough build power to immediately spend the mass. That's a problem that often happens. Well, now he is getting to spend some of it building, yeah, huge assist, going for SMD, and another one down here. But yeah, when you play air, it feels like you're constantly stalling mass if you quickly upgrade your mixes, because the mixed upgrades really at the same time when you are also expanding your air production at a slow pace. You're completely, like, constantly stalling, and it feels like you just don't have enough mass, and suddenly when you complete the last mix, bam, you only have like a couple factories, maybe 10 or so, that spend minus 14 mass on ASFs, and that's nowhere near enough to spend actually 300 mass a tick, 350 mass a tick. So yeah, it takes some thinking to proceed in a way or have enough build power to burn the mass as soon as you finish your eco. Ideally, you should avoid floating mass. You should always keep it down to zero if at all possible. But it is really almost impossible to do from air position. If you eco too quickly, you would have to have an absurd amount of build power prepared to immediately burn all of it. So it is often wiser to slow down eco progression a little bit and expand your air production more, so it's more balanced. But well, floating mass is not that bad compared to overflowing it, so as long as Horny can convert this mass storage in the factories and airplanes reasonably quickly, he'll be good. Grindel has some impressive production going on, multiple Tech 3 factories, very heavy on battleships, and he has finished his SMD as well, not as much assist as Renegade and Horny have. Let's see how those nukes are cooking up. Yep, looks like there's plenty of time for north side to, all players should at least, I think, have one missile, but there's going to be a huge problem with Hawk having actually 2 nukes, we'll see which target he picks. Mice has no SMD, but then again I don't think he even needs to build an SMD. There's so many targets that are more worse than his Tech 2 base. He has some Tech 3 max now, but overall there's still a couple, there's no solid nuke spots here yet. So Mice should be safe for the time being. Has a Tech 3 HQ nicely chosen to assist Renegade with Neptunes and UEF Navy. Oh, and here is an incursion. Honey's force got split and the micro looks even. Maybe Honey has slightly better angle. Yep, he certainly does, and Hawk running it in the end gets a little bit sloppy. This looks like a fairly decent crush for Honey. We'll see how he chooses to use this advantage. There's some spam going on, so soon all of this area will be a no-fly zone. Well, only this area, actually. It's still safe to fly from here. Alright, now some action going on North Sea. Orange is sort of dictating an engagement, it looks like. Meanwhile, Grindle's fleet is getting cocked by a Vesper spam. He does not have Coopers to protect his shield bolts, no Neptunes. Has turned now to spamming Coopers from my factory. I don't. When you play UEF, no matter unless you play a mirror against another UEF, there's really no reason why you should ever not make Coopers. Like, I don't know, just make 4 or 5 of them, and you should be pretty much protected from any reasonable submarine assault forever. You should always have them in your composition. Even if you haven't seen subs, it's so dumb if you're far away and you lack any Coopers, and suddenly the enemy has 10 Barracudas or something and they snap your shield pods. But here we see some interesting mistakes. Not that Grindelwald is really threatened, so to speak, but terrible placement of summits there up front. Frigates are back on the side, Neptunes are nowhere in the place. Well, these two are in range now, but this is not what should ever happen. Bear in mind that destroyers have the highest DPS of all naval units compared to mass cost. So you should never let destroyers come in close on battleships, because these guys will actually destroy, especially UEF summits, because summits are kinda awful against anything smaller than Tech 3 Navy. Due to 20-second fire cycle and huge alpha damage and slow muzzle velocity. He's alright now. This summit lost half of its HP and more for no reason. Neptunes are now coming in, but his own frigates are blocking their movement. This is important. One Neptune even got killed, I think, by the Exodus or something. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention. Horny coming in now with tops. And shield bolts are now this far away. Neptunes are being blocked. Summits are front. This is a really bad placement, but it's not that important now because there's no engagement happening from our side. He's pulling away his small destroyer fleet, and the subs are getting destroyed, and he only has 3 battleships out of position. From Auden's perspective, he should really, these battleships are now moving forward, yeah, that's a bad idea. He has good production, he has great economy, well done Orange. this production looks solid. Still not enough because he's missing build power to actually spend all his mass, but he has multiple tech 3 factories, which is good. So what Arnold should do now, he's at the great disadvantage being Aeon against UEF. That's almost a hard counter, or in fact it is a hard counter, simply due to the battleship difference, of which I can talk more later. But what Arnold should do is stack up. Yeah, now he's doing the right thing. Pull back, establish a line here. He has the mass advantage. If he waits some minutes, he should have a great deal more mass in his fleet. Maybe even a critical amount, and he can maybe finally overwhelm the UEF Navy from Grindel. At least with the correct composition. But seeing as Grindel has at least 2 Neptunes, 2 battleships, 4 Omens is not going to be enough. Wait a couple minutes until you have like 10 Omens. Form a line with them and have some destroyers, subs maybe, and frigates, and at least consolidate your forces first, which is what Arden looks to be doing now. No reason to engage at this moment. In South Sea, VMC is pushing. He has killed some minor eco with his surfing cruisers, and it looks like from this position at first glance that VMC will prevail here, but I think that's not the case. 0 battleships from north side, but greater amounts of destroyers. Meanwhile, these Barracudas are being eaten alive by Salems, completely useless in this position. You should always be careful with your subs. A really great unit, but requires constant attention. Generally all, well, or not all, but Salems and Exodus from Aeon, the destroyers, will absolutely destroy subs. They have really powerful torpedoes and really powerful torpedo defense, which means that you should always keep your subs hunting for stray, maybe Neptunes, frigates, battleships, anywhere outside of enemy subs and especially destroyers and coopers. So these Barracudas are virtually rendered useless, and the force has greatly diminished now, and as well as his Salems got wiped out, and now he has only 3 battleships and cruisers against a fairly considerable amount of Salems. And yet VMC is gonna pull back. Should also quickly move his cruisers. Yeah, that does. Galaxy spam commencing. Well, not spam, but yeah. Galaxy is coming now. Let's take a look at the nukes. Almost done. Very nearly done. This one's already queued up. Going to hit Grindel. Has one. Interesting to see where the second nuke will go. Put it in the same spot. Okay, so this is getting more interesting now. Neptune's coming in alone. Destroyers to support, shoot boats back. Summits here and frigates in this array behind. Yep, that's the nuke coming in this place. This is, as far as I can tell, poor engagement from Grindel. There's a number of reasons for this. Auron's forces are not in a great shape or formation either, though. His frigates are in the way of his battleships. Really causes some difficulty in terms of traffic. There's no way now to quickly move these battleships up front. But in terms of these Neptunes here, Neptunes are, it's a really bad meme about Neptunes being some battleship killers or the ultimate Tech 3 naval unit. That's simply false. Neptunes are terrible against battleships, especially Omens. Omen is by far the best battleship in the game to kill this with. The reasons are fairly simple. This battleship is slightly different from all the other battleships. Traditionally the worst battleship out of all the 4. Has second lowest HP, has only 105 range, which is 20 or 45 less than what Summit and Galaxy and Hawthorne have. But however, this battleship moves faster, turns faster, and most of all, the muzzle velocity is far greater than on other battleships. These shells fly really fast, hard to dodge, they're accurate, and Omen has 510 DPS or something around that area, which is 60 or 50 more than the other battleships have. All the other battleships have 450 DPS in the main cannons. Omen has over 500. And yeah, Neptune has 80 range, so Omen does have a decent range advantage over Neptune. You should never let Neptunes close because Omens will really destroy them quickly. I mean, Neptune is 7,000 mass for 25k HP. Battleship is 9,000 mass for 48,000 HP in the case of Omen. So against Aeon, there's no reason to engage in Neptunes other than against frigates and destroyers. Here the Vesper Wolfpack is going north, challenge the frigates, and the Coopers here are out of position. You should always be active with your Coopers, same as with subs, these move really quickly. There's no reason why these Coopers shouldn't be here. Skirt around and make these useless here. This amount of Coopers will hard counter these Vespers easily. But now, yeah, not enough shield bolts, shields are offline, should have more shield bolt production, and these summits are in a terrible position. These frigates are here getting destroyed by subs with no intention of moving south. Maybe now there is. This frigate force is greatly out of position. These Neptunes are in the range of Omens, so luckily Oren doesn't seem to be killing them because he can fire the summits, for which there should be no reason. Look at the massive range, 150 of summits. This summit should be further back, or at least moving back as quickly as possible, because from this range this Omens can simply free fire summits and destroy them too easily. Summits cost 10,500 mass, 1.5 more than other battleships. Well, apart from Galaxy, which is 1,000 mass cheaper. And now even these destroyers are coming in and can make use of their huge torpedo depth charge DPS as well. The role of Neptune should be to protect the battleships and the shield bolts from destroyers and frigates. And while they kinda are in a position to do that right now, they are still too close to Omens. I mean, look, if these Neptunes would be in here, they would be out of range from the Omens, and they could still be spotting down the Exodus and the frigates in a matter of seconds. Yeah, he sees that his first nuke has failed, and he placed the second in the same spot. Now, interesting to see if this slight delay, they were almost evenly loaded, so he could have fired them both at the same time, but he waited if the first one will connect to see if he can use the second nuke in another spot. But this delay might prove to be Hawk's demise, because there is some delay in the launch and the travel distance is fairly great on Seton's. Grindle now has some extra seconds to load his SMD. This is going to be really close. Yeah, now the summits have moved farther away, but this Neptune is going to die. Now he's without Neptunes, which is terrible. Frigates finally coming in as they should be. But these frigates are now rampant here. They snuck past and there's no Neptunes now. Grindle is not even moving like a boss. He's showing some great confidence here. That's fairly uncomfortably close, but oh, okay, yeah. He made the correct call. No need to move. Maybe even the 42 build power from ACU decided it. Get some appropriate response from his teammates. Phew. Things have calmed down in South Sea for a little bit. Yeah, now the Coopers were again out of position. Now they get killed by frigates and they weren't here to protect these frigates. With Coopers you don't really have to care about battleships. This should be firing at other targets anyway. Battleships are fairly terrible, of course, at killing Coopers. Really small units with really fast moving speed. But frigates and most destroyers are really good against Coopers, so they have really low HP for high price and kind of sloppy DPS, so really should never be in any place where they are in range of frigates or any other ship. But submarines, which means that they should be under the shield boats, close by the Neptunes and Summits, ready to move if needed. Grindle's force is in full route now. He's still getting cocked by the Vespers. Cooper's now moving in the position finally. Oren has a superior amount of battleships. Chasing now, but with awkward formation, but it doesn't matter at this point because Grindle is getting hammered. One key to UF Navy, it's not an easy navy to play efficiently with. Okay, some sort of challenge. Horn is sneakily running away, waiting till Hawk turns, and now he has his back. Excellent engagement, excellent from Horny. Let's see, look at the micro. Horny's force kind of awkwardly splits, but yeah, this part gets taken too far away, but it turns out pretty well. In terms of turning speed, micro looks fairly even, though yeah, would have been better if the force wouldn't have split. Hawk again gets a little sloppy in the final turns, and Horny wins A again, and this is surely the price that Hawk paid for fading with a double nuke. It's not a small thing to scoff off, having paid 30,000 for launchers and 24,000 mass for 2 nukes, missiles, and failing to inflict any damage. Double nuke can be extremely devastating, but this was kind of bad. Unfortunate for Hawk. It was really close with killing Grindle here. But this navy is in huge trouble now from Grindle. How many is this? 8, 9 battleships with some hover shields. However, Auden is also lacking support units, frigates and destroyers. And anti-air as well, because now Horny is coming in with his torpedoes, and oh my god, look at this. Horny has been hoarding a massive strat bomber fleet. I think for some other purpose, maybe a snipe, rather than helping Navy. But this is going to be huge because Auden has no anti-air here. Horny can protect the strats indefinitely. Now with air superiority, Auden has some AA coming in now, but it's kind of late. And this is, yeah, that's Kino. That's beautiful. Perfect line of omens getting taken down by massive splash of Cybern strats. Second pass coming in soon. Let's look at this. That's really beautiful. While the strat bomber is not as mass efficient, of course, against Navy as torpedo bombers are, especially Cybern strat is excellent against Navy as well. It's not a bad unit to be used against Navy, big ships. Does about 3000 damage with the bomb, has huge blast, so will likely hit 2 ships at the same time. That's complete destruction now. Hawk apologizing. Auden lost all of his navy, and now he should really rethink about the movement of his units. This position is indefinitely lost, so Auden should not be supplying any more mass at the front, at the footsteps of Grindle's base, and should be pulling back all his units. Maybe re-establish the defensive line here and wait till he has consolidated the new force again with enough AA. Because now, yeah, he's just feeding these units for nothing, leaving even more reclaim for Grindle. His navy got almost completely destroyed, but he will survive this thanks to Horny. Meanwhile, Renegade and Mice now on the offensive in south. However, looks like Renegade made the same mistake as VMC a moment earlier. He's overextending a little bit. His salients have diminished and looks like... Well, okay, the battleships are even. So in terms of forces right now in the fighting position, it's more or less completely even. Very slight advantage in terms of destroyers for VMC, but however, this fighting position is much closer to VMC's facilities, which means that he will be winning with a logistic advantage. Reinforcements from Renegade take a lot longer to travel in the position. Meanwhile, VMC's reinforcements will almost immediately be in range, so only a matter of minutes before VMC's force here is superior, seeing as with even navies here, both of these forces will most likely receive casualties at the same rate, so VMC will have the advantage soon. See if this... Yep, Renegade has a nuke, and Horny made the response as well, has a nuke of his own. Interesting to see where those nukes will be fired. VMC has also... yeah, he has completed his double base, so he has huge 600 mass income. Couldn't spend all of that on navy. He has decent naval production, but it could be even bigger. So, but he made a monkey. It has not been spotted, but could be now, because yeah, this is obviously a monkey sniper gun. Interesting to see where this monkey is going. For some reason, oh. But yeah, it's gonna take out the SMD. And there's a nuke being launched from Renegade. It's going to middle. EMC has not built an SMD. He has to build power. Prepared, but it's too late now. Interesting about the position here, it doesn't go for the full econ nuke. I think it will take out 3 maxes and then HQ, which is fairly decent nuke. But we'll see soon. Yep, now Renegade and Might is lost. Well, they have a 1 Neptune, but Renegade lost his support units. His battleships are kinda alone, and there's Seton from VMC coming close. Renegade forced to push back, and this mass field will be in the hands of VMC. Now, third nuke from Hawk. Okay, so Hawk aiding VMC, because VMC now looks to have the advantage in the naval fight. He will have this reclaim field, should be bolstering his production even further, prepare to use this mass. However, there's still no sign of preparing a transport or something to take this mass quickly. You should immediately place your hands on the reclaim as soon as you can. But interesting about this nuke, this will surely help VMC by crippling Renegade's economy a little bit, which will hurt him, considering he's now lost the reclaim field as well, and his production. But the placement on this island, there's no way you can, at least to my knowledge, on this island you can't kill 5 mexes, you can only kill 3 or 4 mexes. Either you leave this one or this one alive. On this island, because the mexes are slightly closer, it's possible to kill all the mexes. So 4 nuke. How's it going? Oh, so going in the mouse space, the SMD died here. This nuke will be great. We'll take all this power and the 4 mexes as well. But here, yeah, Renegade even has an SMD here, but it's not loaded. So this nuke should cause quite nice damage, but we'll see about the placement here. So Oran is still supplying his forces on the rally point to the front line and losing them one by one. Grindel has a little regained his troops. Has 3 summits now, but not a great deal of other ships yet. Not too great. I think this was a mistake, a slight mistake from Hawk. Takes out the SMD and 3 mexes, so obviously great damage inflicted. But seeing as he placed it too far away to take either one of these mexes, he should have placed it far closer to the shoreline. So he could still have, he could still have taken out the SMD and 3 mexes as well as these 3 factories, which are tech 3. But now all of these are left alive, so slight mistake from Hawk here. However, this nuke is perfect, I think, and there's another nuke from Horny going on this island. We'll see about the placement here soon. That's devastating. All power and mechs is gone from the middle. Now it's Renegade who has the initiative of reclaim, so VMC not using his chance here. And it looks like somehow his force is diminished as well. It looks like he might be even forced to yield this area, momentarily at least, which is a mistake. West base again, he's building Tech 2 torpedo launchers, but that's no point, he should have just make a few Coopers. This summit is dying for no reason. Let's see about this. Oh no, I'm missing something here. It's an air fight. It started already a while ago. And Corsairs and some strats which were used to snipe an SMD from VMC, so now VMC's base is left vulnerable for nukes, but Hawk gets the air victory, and this nuke was perfect, takes out all 5 mexes. So VMC now has an SMD here. His SMD here was placed rather well, protected both of his HQs as well as his core mexes. But yeah, he immediately rebuilds, but I don't think that will be in time. Let's see if Northside has any nukes prepared. Far off. Okay, so they don't have any nukes at the moment, but I don't think VMC probably won't be loading this in time anyway, so a portion of this base will be wiped out. So meanwhile, Grindel has finally things under control. Has 5 summits, 6, 7, 8 one coming out. 8 summits is, well, pretty much as many summits as you ever need in any game, in most situations, especially at this level. I'm slightly concerned about Grindel's naval composition. It wasn't very great to begin with, but now when he lost everything and is rebuilding from scratch, what's this? Oh, naval nuke from BMC going straight here. Bear in mind that battleship nukes do about 30k damage, not 75,000 as land-based launchers do. It's not enough to kill battleships, but it will, break Renegade's formation, kill some reclaim these engineers. Takes out the Neptune and the damaged battleship as well. That was decent. And now VMC should have the upper hand again, and he should really quickly get inches here in place. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm slightly concerned about the naval composition of Grindel. I mean, he's sitting back in his base with 5 summits, which soon will be 8, and there's no intention of finally the reclaiming begins, but this, I don't know, it's maybe 50-60,000 mass intact, and there's really no reason why BMC, Aurand and Hawk should be getting any of this mass. But Grindel looks to be fine with that. He's simply letting these guys reclaim here. Yeah, Grindel is lacking vision, so to speak. He has sort of complete vision, but he hasn't looked, I mean, he has the vision, but he hasn't looked carefully enough. yeah, it looks like there's a great deal of blips and more forces coming in and so forth, but and he might even think that yeah, he's being somehow confined here, surrounded by well, threatened by troops or something, I don't know. But if you look closely, you can see there's like what 8 cruisers, 1 battleship, Inzies, whole flag, 1 destroyer. Absolutely nothing to keep him in place. He can just make a single move order in this position, and there's nothing Ireland has to stop him with. Spam of carriers. Yeah, Omens and Exodus coming in one by one. But Grindel has terrible naval composition. There's no frigates. He needs a frigate spam now to kill all the small ships. Summits are completely useless against frigates and really weak against destroyers. There's a Neptune not being used. Going for even more summits for whatever reason. He's simply turned to full Neptune, shitballs, frigate spam, no more summits needed. I mean, Auden doesn't even really have battleships at this point, and if you play against if you play as a UAF and your opponent doesn't have battleships, there's really no reason to ever even make any summits, at least not in great numbers. As I said multiple times now, it's virtually a pointless unit against anything else than battleships in terms of pure naval combat. And this is finally the nuke. Failed to see the placement of this one. That was a fairly devastating nuke. Much better to go for the base than only 1 HQ. Takes out 2 power, all COMEXs and the SMD as well. So VMC is now severely crippled and looks like I missed some action here. I think these were taken out by some stray strat bombers earlier. Maybe during the airfight or shortly after it. Nice to see that Hawk is reclaiming the airfight field. It's a mistake that low-rated players routinely make. 5th nuke now from Renegade. Coming here. Yeah, I think he must have measured it with from his base. Let me show you the way how to do it. When you want to skirt for enemy anti-nukes yet again. And he actually has 3 nukes and he launched them all at Grindel. 1 going here, 1 here and 1 here. That's huge punishment now. But yeah, you place SMD build order and try to measure at which spot you can fire nuke. So the nuke that was going here, I hope Hawk made the correct measurement and it's just outside the range. It should be able to take out the HQ maybe, but at least these 2 factories. South Navy forces from North side now in complete disarray, but we'll see how this turns out. Renegade still has a lot of units though. Oh, that's unfortunate. A really slight error. Slight mistake again from Hawk. Really slight measurement error there. And it gets taken out. This nuke will land, will take out a considerable amount of Grindelwald's economy. This nuke, fairly odd placement, I'd say maybe, but it's, yeah, this is luck for Hawk. That was a luck nuke. Not a great placement, I'd say. It takes out only 3 factories, but it happens to take also out the summit and an almost fully completed one. So 2 summits and 2 factories. That's over 20,000 mass damage inflicted. That's great. And these torpedoes are not from Hawk, but from Orend, who was, I failed to mention it earlier, but he was building it in the torpedoes in these aircraft carriers. Grindelwald lamenting about Horny's decision to engage air. will result in a loss. Hawk now with superior numbers. Looking at the production, it's fairly evident. Hawk's base is more developed in terms of air production, and these nukes are nice. And I like how he's able to load them almost perfectly simultaneously. This is the second or third nuke from Renegade going middle, but this is loaded. I'm not sure if Renegade is aware. They know there's an SMD, but he's risking it. VMC is going for an Northwassa, almost completely built. Nuke from Horny also going here. That's a risk considering this one hasn't even landed, but it's luck. Ballsy move because that nuke could have been wasted in case this wasn't loaded. But now this nuke will be really great. This is going to be a brutal nuke. So much mass in the area, we'll see what it takes out. Now Hawk chasing the remainders of Horny's air force. Did you guys see that? This force has no bombers, no gunships. But this power generator and these 3 factories died from the explosion. What looks to me like these ASS were directly shooting at the power gen. Horny says WTF. Surely wondering what the fuck killed his air grid. A smile from Hawk, that's suspicious. This nuke is perfect, that's huge. Takes out the SMD power, 4 mexes and an almost completed Avasa. That's, I don't know, 80,000 mass. Damage inflicted, that's massive. Okay, however, the Avasa wreck survives with 25k mass, so that will leave VMC something to start up his base again. But now VMC has really been punished. Has lost these mexes a couple times. This one has been nuked, this one has been nuked 2 times. Down from 600 mass to only 300 mass. Finally displaying some intention of getting the reclaim, but too late now. His naval force is in route. And looks like south side will be losing after all. Yeah, I was saying earlier about the air field after battles. That's a mistake that lower players really make, is not reclaiming after air battles. Everybody knows about naval reclaim, mainly because, you know, when you check the reclaim, you see huge numbers. It's really attractive, really sexy. It's easy to understand. Yeah, that's so many thousands here. Meanwhile, this only looks like a couple hundred split around. But the main area of the field has already been reclaimed, but when you really start to count, looking closer, you can see that on average the wrecks from ASFs are maybe like 125, so only 8 of those will be 1000 mass. So in air battles of this scale, the field left from battle will easily be worth some 10,000. So you should always have lots of Tech 1 NGs reclaiming the field. This is a greedy reclaim drop. Will most likely be denied. But this North Sea situation is getting more embarrassing by the moment. 7 summits, I think he has lost a couple again. For like, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. there hasn't been any real threat from Orland, and these summits are staying in the base completely needlessly. Far too timid, and the composition is still all wrong. Now he has some shield boats, enough shield boats now, and cruisers to defend against the torpedoes and as well as Coopers for subs, but still lacking Neptunes. So apart from always having like one on 9 that gets killed by the Exodus and Omen routinely. But no frigates. Look at this. Casual SAC from Orland reclaiming directly beneath the navy here, because why not? And the reclaim field here with the battleships was left untouched for far too long. It belonged to Grindel for a long time, and I wasn't even sure which side really got it. Grindel has 100,000 mass reclaimed, but I think he should have more. Hawk has 100,000, he has been active here in both seas and in the field here. Meanwhile Horny has not, Horny hasn't had the opportunity to reclaim really apart from this position. So he has 40,000 lower, Strat Bomber, Snipe coming for SMD, and Auron has 113,000, so more than Grindel, and he shouldn't have any because he lost due to the air. But Grindel has let him have 100,000 mass for free. And these Strat Bombers continue, they take out this SMD as well, yeah. Yep, now the typical argument discussions begin. I don't know how else I could have helped you. You still managed to lose. Well, maybe just 20 Strat Bombers won't really help after all, according to Grindel. And the nukes really didn't punish Grindel. Yeah, he's been hit by 5 nukes now, of which only 2 landed, and only 1 really caused damage. And considering he had 200,000 mass here, because the 100,000 from Oran should have belonged to Grindel, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have these 3 maxes. He has enough mass to win the battle without any maxes at all. Well, he is still holding, that's true, but against what exactly, I'm not sure. Really against this, look at these dangerous Tech 1 engineers with far build power. I mean, they could just come in here and reclaim Grindel's navy. And now there's no SMD, so this looks like to be the beginning of the end for Nazi. Meanwhile, Auden is still pushing in one by one. A strategy that's awkward for sure, but has worked in this game for some reason. Grindel is constantly under the impression that he's being invaded, or locked in this position here. He only needed some frigates earlier. Even now, he doesn't even need the base anymore. He has so much navy, 7 summits. As long as he retains the production, it doesn't matter if he loses these maxes. There's still enough reclaim here. Just turn all of these to shield boats and like make 2 Neptunes and all the rest only on frigate and shield bombings. He doesn't need any more summits. 8 summits is terrible. It's such a huge amount. 8 summits already easily one-shot any ship in the game. 1 cycle, 1 battleship down. But his commander gets taken down by the nuke. And the role and the impact of air is usually over-exaggerated by players in Setons. Sure, air is a position that can control games to a vast degree, but the later the game goes, the more irrelevant a position actually becomes. Especially in, it's 50 minutes played, there's so much mass involved. At this stage in the game, Navy should easily have had enough time to bolster up such AA, especially as GEF is virtually untoppable. It doesn't matter if your side doesn't have air control. When you have 15-20 cruisers and the ship boats, it's pretty much impossible to be topped. Grindel got topped in the end by Oran's own torpedo fleet, but it didn't really inflict damage, as we saw. The ship boats completely absorbed all the damage. Yeah, Navy is still okay, but really the Navy should have won 20-30 minutes ago. He was basically AFKing in here. He should just have placed the move order in this position a lot earlier. But he was never able to do it because he lacked the frigates. The frigates could have killed all the NGs, stopped all the reclaim, killed all the omens, even killed the AA, killed everything in the game. Oh, that was a naval nuke. I'm not sure if that did too much damage, but it again slowed Renegade's movement and forced him to break the movement, the formation of his navy. Renegade should still be winning, but it's delayed now. VMC has still on low mass production, but he has enough to keep some production online, and he's been getting support now from nukes and as well as torps from Hawk. So Renegade has been slowed down, but he should be pushing to the victory now, but it will be delayed and far slower than this victory now. This side is completely lost. So this was a textbook example of failure due to naval composition. Grindel had the upper hand almost the entire game, but lack of vision and awareness and wrong choice of units. Well, nicely done by VMC holding this side so long, and yeah. Yeah, actually it's, yeah, this one will be delayed almost indefinitely. There's a huge fuck ton of reclaim here. Still not taken by anyone. Now VMC is going in again. But maybe now in Renegade's perspective it's not even profitable anymore to try to win this, because the more he pushes, the more there will be tops. Island nuke again, but Arendt has an SMD, which I think will be loaded in time. Arendt has been constantly expanding his eco, and he has a massive economy, and now what Arendt needs to realize, which is another common mistake of players below the pro range, and well, players in the low end pro range also commit this mistake over and over again. Once you win your side, they have no clear intentions of actually ending the game or failing to realize that the responsibility of ending the game is yours. There's no reason to stop playing, pat yourself on the back. Okay, now look, I defeated my opponent. Now I'm just gonna kill these bases slowly with my navy and chill. Yeah, that's of course what you should be doing, killing these bases, but that doesn't really require effort. Auden has 15 battleships, absurd amount, should be stopping these battleship production immediately because they are now useless. Maybe make some torrents and kill this base as quickly as you can. But really, as you approach a victory when it's inevitable, you should already start planning and setting up some definite game-ending measures, like constructing super game ender, Paragon, Salvation, Mavo, Tech 3 Adi, mass nuke sub spam, mass strat bomber spam, anything. You should never stop the momentum. And the stop is exactly what happens most of the time in situations like this. A player wins his navy and then he simply goes into chill mode. Odin has a massive economy and it should all be directed now to some clear purpose of destroying the hopes of North Side permanently. Yeah, Horny lost his motivation, not surprising. Now all North left in the hands of Renegade, who now sits on 1.5 thousand mass income. Yeah, from Renegade's perspective, maybe it's not wise to pursue this one anymore. Simply stop all production, set up your defensive block here, take this reclaim, and make some game under immediately. It's now fairly strange that no side is displaying any intention of going for CB game enders. Some GC being built here, but I'm not sure about the purpose. It's a weird position. He could have transformed the transport. This is SACs here and built the GC and killed these far away mixes from these bases and the front faster. Okay, so yeah, Renegade clearly is going for the game ender now because there's no other reason why these SACs are moving here. Even contribute this factory. I think this will be a naval once he has the UEF tech. Yep. As we assumed, those strat bombers were made to snipe Hawk, but they were used against Orange Navy, which was a good decision as well. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that involvement from 20 strat bombers should have sealed the deal, and Orange Grindle should have won like 15 minutes later, 10 minutes later. Another mistake from Horny. Horny did well. These strat bombers could be reclaimed. Yeah, that is a naval. Hopefully he stops. Oh well, he's making inexpensive units. Oh, now he stopped, yep. He's going all in now. With the naval. Look at the reclaim field. It's probably 100,000 knights. However, Renegade will need more SAMs because he can't afford to make air units while he's building this. Let's see now the game and the plan from south side if there's any. No Audi started at least. No Para, no Salvation started. Nuke still being built and strat bombers and resties. Well, in this case, not that many SAMs, no Air Force for north side. Strats should most likely seal the deal. Let's see if these carriers are active. Oh, also building resties. Excuse me. Yeah, this is simply now the preparation pace. South side preparing the air fleet. Looks like that's the choice, weapon of choice to end this game. And Renegade completing this naval. Almost 200,000 mass. Still a lot left unreclaimed, but he doesn't need any at the moment. He could easily increase his production of air. He's making strats of his own. 50 resties, that's another force easily repelled. Combine that with 50. They have 100 restorers. You need quite a bit of SAMs to stop that. Hawk also has 20 strat bombers. SMDs being marked. Yeah, they will be probably taken out by the air. Smavor is complete. Renegade has knives 200,000 mass from reclaim and still increasing. Now what he should do after... Well, he has 2 nukes, so maybe that's enough. He could start spamming more nukes as soon as this Smavor is complete. But most of all, he should immediately continue a production and have Tech 3 entities spamming SAMs everywhere like a madman. Yeah, should... not sure about the power. I think he should take out the nukes first, because he needs to realize that without air his SMDs are vulnerable. So as long as he kills the nukes fast, he should be safe. But nice to see he placed it between the power gens. It's always kind of painful to see people building naval and not taking advantage of the Tech 3 power gen adjacency for a unit of this price, 220,000 mass. It's kinda bad to not take advantage of 50% fire rate increase. It's simply huge in terms of mass value for a unit of this caliber. Megalith strayed a bit too close. Not sure if he has an Omni. Don't think he has. Oh fuck. Oh, he does. No, it's Tech 2. So that SMD gets taken down, but it's no problem. He has... Okay, well, it is a problem because this one is not loaded, so he will lose the space. But this one has 7, so he's virtually invulnerable to nukes here. But this SMD could really use some shielding. It looks like... Yeah, the restorers are now coming in for the kill. Second wave of strats from Odin, but not enough, I think. Well, this one gets taken out, but it doesn't matter because it's not loaded anyway. And Mavor going to work now. Has had one solid hit, just needs one more here and one more around here. Yep, Hawk really needs to fire this nuke because this won't survive for long.
Strategic launch detected.
Fires here. Oh, maybe the strats from Orange, the 1 or 2 strats still remaining, were able to kill this one because this wasn't protected by even one shield. That shield range was like here. So this was just outside the shield. Even one strat was enough to kill it. So basically Hawk could have nuked this, but maybe he assumed this was loaded, and yeah, this would have been loaded anyway, so he simply takes out the space. And now Renegade is in huge trouble because, yeah, he needs to be aware of these resties here. And spam, he doesn't have enough build power apart from this SACUs, but they are too far back. He should have SAMs here, great deal of SAMs. Looks like nothing will protect him against these resties anymore. Not enough SAMs in the base, only it has 7. Starts building now, but this is the end. And that's game, ladies and gentlemen, that's game. Lots of nukes, lots of action all around the map. Fairly interesting replay. Oh no, these things anyway, it doesn't matter. Some major mistakes being committed in the north side. A game that north side surely should have won with better utilization of naval advantage. Some satellites from Mars, but that's now useless. Alright, I think we can quit here.
Strategic launch detected.
No reason to wait for the map to be cleared out, but if you guys have any funny replays, I will gladly cast any Seton's games. I mean, maybe later some other games as well, but for the time being I would like to focus on Seton's. Casters of any level are really welcome, but I would like to see even games and games where people commit funny mistakes, because those kind of games leave more room for speculation. Well, thanks for watching. This is Hildy signing out.